Hi, my name is Patience LeBlanc, and I'm an 8th grade U.S. history teacher at Fowler Middle School in Texas. And my students had the opportunity to participate in a program called We the People. This program is sponsored by the Center for Civic Education and the State Bar of Texas Law-Related Education. The We the People program has many great aspects. There is a book, a curriculum book that covers law and government and current events. The book is divided into 6 units. My students had the opportunity to do what we call a congressional hearing. And so this is sort of the assessment part of the program, and it's an authentic assessment. The students were divided up into 6 teams, 1 team to represent each unit. Roughly, the students made each team was divided into 3 to 4 students per team. The students were then given 3 questions for their unit, and in their questions they did the research on law and government. To answer their questions, they created or wrote a speech roughly about 4 minutes long for each question. The students then also prepared to field follow-up questions from judges. So the congressional hearing is divided into their speeches and then 4-minute speeches and 6-minute follow-up questions from judges. So our students had the opportunity to research and prepare their speech and these follow-up questions. Students were, when the follow-up questions are asked, the students are able to have this civic conversation with adults, talking from everything from government to law to Supreme Court cases. The We the People program is a fantastic opportunity for students to be heard and for them to get a deeper and better understanding of the way our government works, the way that our history is, and it's a wonderful opportunity, and they really enjoyed it.
Independent study has been an excellent opportunity for me because it expanded my knowledge of U.S. history.
Independent study was a lot of fun and hard work at the same time.
It was really fun working with some people and just hanging out.
I think it was actually really interesting because we got paired up with 2 people in our groups that are like we didn't know any of them. And I had a lot of fun getting to know my members and learning new things.
Independent study was a very good learning experience, and I feel I learned a lot from it, and I got to work with some friends.
It took a lot of time, but more time management than I did time.
We had to commit a lot of time, and we got to leave U.S. history sometimes for it.
It wasn't that big of a time commitment because we got to give up our U.S. history homework.
Well, I think it actually gave us a lot of time to prepare our speeches because we did have to write 3 4-minute speeches. And I think we learned a lot from researching our ideas. And I think the time commitment, well, of course we committed a lot of time, but I think it was the right amount.
Extremely. After tons of research and reading textbooks, I feel like I'm smarter.
Yes, I feel like I know the material better because we took more time and we went in detail and looked at the textbook.
Yeah, definitely, because we did a lot of research.
Yes, I do feel like I know the material better than I do before because I spent so long just learning it.
Yes, I would, and I think the 7th graders should look forward to it because it's really fun.
Definitely, because it's kind of like a enrichment course, and we actually learn a lot from it, and we're having fun at the same time.
This ordinance created Ohio, Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, Wisconsin, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama. The articles also led to the U.S. signing of the Treaty of Alliance with France. Benjamin Franklin and 2 other commissioners, Arthur Lee and Silas Deane, signed the Treaty of Alliance in 1788. Benjamin Franklin's popularity in France strengthened French support. The Articles of Confederation also established the Department of Foreign Affairs, War, Marine, and Treasury.
The founders found more weaknesses in the Articles of Confederation than accomplishments. The main reason for this was because the national government was very weak. For example, there was no national court to protect the citizens' rights, and in the late 1700s, the states argued over borders and boundaries.
Could the articles have been revised to provide a satisfactory government?
I do not think that it could be revised to the extent that they needed to revise it to, because the foundation of the Articles of Confederation was a weak national government, and they didn't realize that they needed to have equal power among the states and as a central government, so the government could handle disputes among the states.
I agree with that because the government had many problems, and I think they made the right decision to just like throw it away and start from scratch.
Right, like they said, then we created the Constitution, which did guarantee all the rights to the citizens through all 10 amendments, like the first one was the speech. So all the problems addressed throughout society during that time were then addressed in the Constitution to help create more of a utopia.
They were very prepared, and I think they provided a really good history. We asked a question about the Constitution, and they provided a very good history of the Constitution and how we came about making our Constitution. And they also did a very good job of giving an example of in today's world where there is not a constitutional government, and giving examples of why that might not actually be a great idea.
Our students were extremely prepared, very impressed with their performance. It's obvious that they took a lot of time really researching the topic, and each of the presentations that I've seen this evening went into great detail on the topic. I'm very pleased with just the level of preparation.
I felt the students were very well prepared. They had their notes, they had their speeches timed perfectly. They were pulling in historical references, constitutional references for Unit 1, which was the one that we judged. They handed off to each other very well, so they knew when their spot was to speak next. And they worked very well together as a team. It was very impressive.
Very well prepared. I mean, this was my very first experience judging the We the People competition, and so it was very impressive to me. Their knowledge, the history they had acquired through the program, and they were able to kind of passionately share what they had learned and really state their positions and support it very well.
I thought they did very good. I was impressed. I'm an attorney, and so I have to get up and speak in front of people, and I thought that they did a very good job. I couldn't have done that in 8th grade. I would have been too nervous, and I thought they did very well.
I thought the presentations were exceptional. Once again, our students have spent a lot of time, obviously, really researching and fully understanding the content surrounding their topics of discussion, and that came through in their presentations this evening.
They're very interesting. It's exciting to see students do the research and then apply it to what they believe. I've seen a lot of passion and a lot of hard work. It's also interesting to hear the opinions of students coming from different directions, yet they're still answering the same questions, so it's enjoyable to hear what they have to say on the similar topic.
I thought the presentations were fantastic. That's a lot to ask of a middle school student, to prepare a presentation and sit down in a room full of people and present their information. They all were very mature, shook our hands, made eye contact, were prepared, spoke very well, spoke with pace instead of trying to speak quickly through their speech. Maybe little nerves here and there, but they were very confident in their information, and that came across in their delivery.